What's up, everybody? We're from home today, and I'm standing up in the studio. What's happening? My parents have their luggage on the bed behind me, so I'm going to go a little high today. Let's get some sun in here. There we go. Home radio. All right, everybody. I've given everybody a couple of days of this schedule. Give me a game or two that you like on the schedule. Wake up, everybody. There we go. There we go. Be right there. All right, here we go. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Out of the gate, JT from home today. Ready to roll, man. I'm ready. I got the Raiders schedule right in front of me. I am excited right here on my computer audio wall with my TV. I got the PGA Championship, and I got my Knicks playing tonight. And I got the Subway Series. I got Yankees, Mets, and we got A's, Giants. Man, we got a lot going on. We got Dodgers, Angels, rivalry week in baseball, and wrapping up a really good week. You can watch the show live and get a kick out of it today because I'm in the guest room in my house where my mom and dad have all their luggage out on the bed. I'm not showing their luggage. Why would I? On JT the Brick YT, that's my personal YouTube channel, which is getting to a good number here. People are watching the show. I appreciate everybody there. We got some nice surprises and gifts coming up for all the bricklayers who joined or joined in. Some contests coming up here. But mom and dad are leaving a Sunday, and they're ready to pack, and they got another great day in the backyard. It's a Friday. That's a bucket of Modello's Friday. I got a bucket of Modello's on ice, dripping wet. I put the ice on at about 1:15 Pacific time, and they are ice cold and ready to drink. Yes, my dad loves Modello too. He grew up drinking Slits. Listen to these beers my dad grew up drinking. Slits. Have you ever heard of that? He grew up drinking Schmitz, if anybody's ever heard about that. And some other types of beers back then that was probably like 10 cents a beer in a can. But now we drink Modello. He's proud that his son has a Modello deal, man. Not many sons have a Modello deal. I have one. So Modello on Friday. And then a pretty good weekend. Coaches versus Cancer kicks off. I'll be with Lon Kruger and a whole bunch of Division I coaches Sunday night. We got the Raiders Gala tomorrow. For those who know, Raiders Gala is tomorrow at Allegiant Stadium. Excited about that. And it's going to be a good weekend because the weather is just fantastic, man. I'm just excited for the weekend here. And it was a good week. The Raiders schedule is out. And I was in the building yesterday with Jackson Powers Johnson. We were there. We had a really good crew yesterday. that came in. We had Lincoln Kennedy. So we had a really good show yesterday. I'm actually going to play about 5 or 6 minutes of Jackson Powers Johnson at some point in the show because, God, he's good. Man, he's an old soul. He's the age of my son. And the guy sits here and he sounds like he's 70 years old with his vision of life. What a great guy he is, man. The Raiders really nailed it with him overall. Rookie mini camp. Now everybody's coming together soon, the entire team. Pete Carroll running around like he's 16 years old with gloves on, running around with sweats on, and just trying to do drills with guys who are in their 20s and he's in his 70s. Man, this is a good time to be a Raider fan. And for the Raider fans who have been down because they haven't won in 20 years, I feel your pain. I was there for all of it, man. My first 4 years with the team from 98 to 2002, we went to the Super Bowl, 2 AFC championship games in the playoffs. I saw the winning of the Raiders. And before I came to the Raiders, there was a drought. There was a little bit of a 90s drought, wink, wink. But the greatness of the Raiders is in its future. And you hear that all the time by the great late Al Davis. The greatness of the Raiders is in its future. Raider fans have been waiting a while. We get it. But there's no more whining and crying anymore. Last year, as Bobby reminded me, it was whining and crying radio. Not from the coach, Antonio Pierce. He's a tough guy, straight out of Compton. He didn't cry. He got a little worked up from time to time. He hated losing, man. Antonio Pierce hated losing. And he did everything to win, and they couldn't win. They had a lot of injuries. They didn't have great quarterback play. They had more injuries, and they didn't have enough good players. So Mark made a decision, which was a tough decision, to go in a different direction. And they bring in Pete Carroll, a legend, I believe a Hall of Famer. And he's won wherever he's been, and he's going to turn this around quickly. Now, why would I say that? Why would I say he's going to turn it around quickly? What does JT mean by that? Well, it's simple. Maybe the easiest thing I could ever answer. Pete Carroll would not take this job unless he wanted to win quickly. Some people take over a job and they have a plan. And the plan is, and you remember Dan Campbell or Ben Johnson, who's now in Chicago, or even Jim Harbaugh in LA, they want to establish an identity and then build to win. Not with Pete Carroll. He's establishing the identity last week with Tom Brady and John Spytek. The identity of this team has been reestablished. It is a physical running team led by Ashton Genty and Raheem Mostert. Wow, Raheem Mostert. Is this maybe a guy who's going to be the most underrated player in the league? I mean, no one's talking about him. And then a team led by Brock Bowers, the best young tight end we've seen in decades. All due respect to Kelsey and Gronk. They didn't come into the league the way Gronk and Kelsey did not come into the league the way Bowers did. And then you got Geno Smith, who's a calm, cool influence in the absolute prime of his career. Everybody, please, right now, if you have a pencil, you probably don't own a pencil anymore, but I want everybody to erase 4 or 5 years of Geno's career because they didn't happen. He didn't play. He didn't get beat up. His knees didn't get hit. He didn't get sacked. He didn't get thrown to the ground. He didn't play. So Geno's younger. His body's younger than his age. He's good to go. And then the defense is led by Max Crosby, one of the elite players in all of the NFL. Do they have some holes they got to figure out? Yeah, they got some holes. They got to figure out they got to get another corner. They got to get another linebacker. They got to add depth there. But, I mean, God, everybody on planet Earth was undrafted as a free agent and invited to come to this team. Spytek's no joke, man. I really did a deep dive when I was in the building yesterday on these undrafted free agents. Because normally I would say this isn't the show of the practice squad. That's my way to remind everybody who listens to me that we're big boy radio. We talk about Super Bowls and winning in playoff games. We don't talk about the practice squad. Maybe for the first time in my 28 years with the Raiders, I'll be talking about the practice squad. There are going to be some players on this team who are not going to be suited up. They'll be on the sidelines or competing to get on the field due to injury that are going to be really good players because they're Pete Carroll competition Pete guys. And they're in the building now. And there's a bunch of them. And they're staying in town and they're ready to try to make this team. So I am very optimistic in the month of May. I'm very excited about the future of the Raiders. I'm cool with the schedule. Again, I was a pain in the butt last year when the schedule came out. I was angry. I was bitter. I was yelling. I was rough around the house. My wife would just tell me, get out of the house. Why? because I hated the schedule. I hated it. The day the schedule comes out and says, I hate this. I didn't like the start of 2 games on the road. I didn't like the Chargers start at end of the season. I didn't like the fact that we didn't get them. Wi-Fi's out, Bobby. How about that? Even at home. This is a beautiful process. We're back again. But I didn't like the schedule last year. I thought that the league screwed us. And guess who was right last year? Not us, Raider Nation. It was the league. It was the prognosticators. It was everybody. They were right. The bent noses and the casino operators told you that the Raiders would not win more than 6.5 games. They were right. They nailed it. They said the Raiders were good last year. Some of the pundits, and again, the casino over-under guys who took the under, they were right. We were wrong. And the Raiders failed miserably last year. Not on everything. I mean, the effort was great and all that. They just couldn't win any games. And I put a lot of that into the injury basket. And I think that the injury stuff really hurt the Raiders last year, and I can't predict injuries. But I can predict that the team, due to the schedule that just was released, the players that they have, the money they still have left to spend, and all of that gives us realistic hopes for a very good season. We got 2 Monday night games, as I predicted. I didn't know in advance, but we get the Cowboys, and we got the home opener against the Chargers. I like that. We play a bunch of teams early that are cold weather teams. And if you play them in late November or December, it's a different ball game. It's just a different game. You're playing in the mud. You're playing in the wet. You're playing in the snow. We don't have to worry about that in New England and the nation's capital unless there's a tsunami rainstorm that we can't predict. The bye week's beautiful. At a beautiful time. I said to my wife, where do you want to go on bye week? We got to get out of here, man. We got to get out of here. We got to get out of here this summer for a little bit. We got to get out of here, man. We're now empty nesters again. My second son just graduated. My wife and I got to do some things. And everything looks good on this. We got the Cleveland Browns, the dog pound at home. We got the Chicago Bears, the monsters of the Midway at home. Have you seen this home schedule? This home schedule is unbelievable. You got a little cupcake city, but no one will admit they're cupcake city, as TV would say. You got a little Jacksonville sprinkled in with a little Tennessee Titans. Oh, you better win those games. You couldn't beat Carolina last year. Oh, baby, don't tell me that this year. You got to check off Jacksonville and Tennessee for me. I can't go through that on the postgame show. I can't lose to Jacksonville or Tennessee. I don't care how improved they are. We got to do some things. We got to come in here and kick ass. And that's going to start. It's already started with rookie mini camp. It's coming up with OTAs, and we got a nice camp that's going to be hot and blistering. And Pete Carroll is going to navigate with John Spytek and Tom Brady and Mark Davis, of course, how they're going to navigate through this camp, which I got a couple of nuggets of information. I think this is going to be a very unique camp for those who get to see it because of competition from Pete Carroll, fun, what they have to do to fight the weather, to play in the weather and the heat, when they have to go inside, what they got to do. So we're live on YouTube at JT the Brick YT. You should have that subscription for free. You should be watching the show. You should be watching everything we do. Make some new internet friends who are in the chat. And thanks for everybody for this week. This is a good week. My heart is full. You hear that term a lot because my mom and dad are in town and they just went to my son's graduation and they've been in Vegas. And we had a nice coffee in the backyard with the great John O'Donnell from One Steak this morning. I'm going to have a couple people in the backyard brick later today for some Modellos and maybe some fine Cabernet Sauvignon. I don't drink white wine. Great JT trivia. I do not drink champagne. I do not drink white wine under any circumstance. Anything. Pinot Grigio, Sauvignon Blanc, no. I'll have a bold Cabernet year-round. I won't take a break in the summer, just one. I'm not a wino. Just have a nice glass of wine with mom. And then Grimaldi's will host our backyard brick tonight. We will have Grimaldi's pizza, Brooklyn Bridges, and Caesar salads being served because Grimaldi's is the best pizza I've ever had. So my family's here. They're out of here this weekend. My son just got back from school. Like all dads and moms in this time, you want to give your sons and daughters after their graduation, calm down. I was not a good student. I went to college and I got out of college in 4 years. I majored in my fraternity. I was the president of my fraternity. I tapped a lot of kegs, had a lot of fun, But when I came home from college, my dad was like, tick, 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 when you getting a job? And luckily I got a pretty good job as a stockbroker. Nowadays with our kids, just enter life and let it come. These kids now, man, I think they have it. You know, some people say it's lighter or tougher. These kids have it tough now, man. Look at the world. They're coming in. So I'm happy to have my son back here as he finally made it back. I have people like Jack Yates, who's in my chat saying 12-5, JT, 12-5 for the Raiders. Well, I'm not going to go there, man. I'm not here to predict wins and losses. Do I believe that we have a winning record schedule? Yes. I told you I love the schedule. That means I think the Raiders could navigate it. I think they could navigate the schedule. Do I think they're going to win 10 or 11 games? I can't answer that question now. I don't know the roster yet. I need Malcolm Kuntz to get through training camp with Christian Wilkins healthy. Let me repeat that in 3, 2, and 1. I need Christian Wilkins and Malcolm Kuntz to get through camp healthy, ready to play week 1. We open in New England. Do you know what it's going to be like when Josh McDaniels, who is an elite, super elite offensive coordinator, if you don't agree to that, you should be locked up and thrown in an insane asylum. No one says he was an elite head coach. He's been fired multiple times. That train is gone. He's an elite offensive coordinator. He will have New England ready for Patrick Graham, and Patrick Graham was under Josh McDaniels, and he knows everything about Patrick Graham, and Patrick Graham knows the tendencies of Josh McDaniels. They got Drake May. They got some good players on that team. The Raiders are better than the New England Patriots. It'll be a sun-drenched sky day in New England, and Raider Nation will take over the parking lot in Foxborough, but those New England fans are going to be excited. The home opener against the Chargers. How did we get that on Monday Night Football? The Raiders were a 4-win team. Well, it's because Pete Carroll's the coach and Jim Harbaugh and Pete have an unbelievable rivalry. Unbelievable rivalry. So they put that on television, and they're going to give you that, and they're going to do all the graphics about their rivalry at USC and Stanford and with the Seahawks and the 40. All that's going to come out. They won a rivalry game. Jerry Jones got a lot of help from Al Davis. Al Davis gave Jerry Jones a lot of help coming into the league. Jerry Jones has been a tremendous supporter of Mark Davis. So they gave us Monday Night Football because of the Jones and Davis empire of the NFL. 8 combined Super Bowls, some of the greatest Hall of Famers. We get that. Not because we won 4 games. We're getting it because of that. So I look at the schedule and I love it. Say it with me. You love this schedule. You're not scared. We're not going to take any Raider fans who are scared anymore. We're not taking any Raider fans who want to tank. Like I had to fight off like Game of Thrones with a sword and a dragon. I had a dragon over my shoulder. I was fighting off all the tankers, all the Raider fans saying, I want to tank, I want to lose. We don't lose around here. I don't care if you're a 4-win team. You never lose a game. You play to win every game, and you play your ass off if you're a player. Keep those fans away from me. When they come up to me, I point away. We don't tank. We're not looking about tanking. It's May. We want to win every game, but we're not going to win every game. So as I open up the show, the monologue brought to you by PTs. They fuel the monologue even from home in the guest room where my parents are staying. I need to know the game on the schedule. Good topic for the first hour. The game on the schedule that you believe will make or break the Raider season. Ooh, that's a good one. I ran that by my son. He was good with that. He said, what's the game that's the make or break game? 702-365-9200. I'm a topic developer. That's a good topic. The game that you see shouldn't be game 1 or game 2. That's not going to make or break the Raiders. What are you talking about? I don't care if the Raiders start off 2-3, 3-2. I want them to start off 4-1. This schedule gives the Raiders an opportunity to go 5-2 or 4-3. But I need to know from you, what is the make or break game that you're looking at that schedule and you're like, man, JT's right. This game in week blank is the game that is going to decide where we go. We going to the playoffs, or are we going to wallow and just kind of be around there and fighting not to get eliminated from the playoffs in week 14, 15, 16? A lot of Raider Nation is very optimistic about what's going to happen here, but that's me. I got to hear from you. We got to wake this up. Summertime radio. Got a big announcement coming up with that. I talked to the Raiders yesterday. In the summer, we come up with the topic because we mail it in. A lot of radio shows in the summer bleep and mail it in. So we come up with something fun. We had the greatest Raider team of all time, right? We had the greatest Raider roster of all time. We're coming up here with something cool, a little bit outside the box, and we'll debut that sometime in June through the camp into July when the time out for vacation comes, and then we'll get you into the preseason. So that's what we're going to do today. And let's hear from you at 702-365-9200. Bobby's staring at the phones going, do the phones work? Are they broke? Or are the phones working today? So get me someone in here who can match my energy, because my energy is everything. A couple of other notes. The Knicks play tonight. My name, JT the Brick. I got that name because of the Knicks. Brick rhymes with Knicks. I'm a diehard Knicks fan. They haven't won since 73. Where were you in 1973? Raise your hand and beep your horn if you weren't born. Come on, raise your hand if you weren't born in 1973. That's how long I've been waiting for the Knicks to win. It will be so dramatic tonight at Madison Square Garden, because if the Knicks lose, they're going to have a collapse. That would be one of the collapses for the ages. For the ages, because it's New York City. They got good players. Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, Bridges. They got good players on the Knicks. They're no joke. But if they have a 3-1 lead and Jason Tatum blows out his Achilles and the Knicks lose 3 in a row, it will be fire everybody. Sky is falling. Empire State Building crumbling to the ground type of drama. That's the type of drama that's at stake here. Also, I wanted to mention Denver and Oklahoma City has been a brilliant series. I think Oklahoma City is the best team out there, period. But they got to prove it. And then the Indiana Pacers are waiting for the Knicks or the Celtics, and they're both good. And I promised everybody I would send out a video, but I wasn't able to do it. Busy the last couple of days. I'm not happy that the Warriors lost. I don't have any angst against the Warriors. Some of the best years of my life were on the radio on Ticket 1050, 95.7 The Game. And you look at those stations now and what they were in the Bay Area. And I don't live in the past. I talk about the past, but I live in the future. I'm a future guy. I was on the 2 biggest radio stations in the history of San Francisco. And both of them kind of went to garbage. They went to crap. Not all of them. There's some hosts there I still know. But if you remember, in the early 2000s, 2010, the Raiders in 2002, the Ticket 1050 and KMBR were colossal giants in sports radio. Now they could barely afford to pay for a board op, it seems. And they're getting rid of some of the greatest talent to ever be in that market. You wonder why I didn't move there and stay there for long. But I will tell you, I love the Warrior fans because they're Raider fans. So I didn't want to see the Warriors lose because they're not my team. But I'm so happy Jimmy Butler is eliminated from the playoffs. He's an NBA quitter. Jimmy Butler is a fraud. He quit in Minneapolis. He quit in Miami. He quit everywhere. He quit in Philadelphia. Jimmy Butler is the poster guy for entitlement in the NBA. Jimmy Butler is the worst of the NBA. He's a brilliant basketball player. Brilliant. He's a quitter. And just like I watched the San Francisco Giant fans cheer on their feet as Gilroy garlic fries were falling out of their mouth, as Anchor Steamer beer was leaking out of their cups down their elbows, as Bonds hit balls into the water. And every Giant fan knew he was cheating. We love Barry, great player. He was knowingly cheating on purpose to catch Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire because they were getting all the love and Barry wasn't getting any. And Barry could have kept all the clear and the cream and the needles out of them. He could have kept that all out. But Barry chased the dream. And then he hit 200 plus more home runs than he ever should have hit. And he put the ball into the water. He's a great player, but he was cheating. And the Giant fans didn't care because they were immersed in the fun and the excitement of Bonds hitting it in the water. Same thing with the Warrior fans. Warrior fans knew that Jimmy Butler was a bleeping quitter. They knew he was a fraud, but they got him. And the Warrior fans said, oh, we got playoff Jimmy. He's one of us now. No, he's a losing fraud quitter. And he's out. He quit on Pat Riley in Miami. So I didn't get around to that. That's pretty aggressive. Wanted to get that in there. I'm rolling today, man. Bobby will plug in the phones to see if they work. We'll get going here on the other side to see if anybody's ready to go. I love this Raiders schedule. I love it. I cleared out the phones in the first hour for you. Take advantage of it. I love the schedule. I think this is a great schedule for the Raiders at home. I'm a season ticket holder. I love it. I think it's a decent schedule on the road. I don't like many of the road trips. I like Miami. I like going to Miami. I like Seattle. I like different cities. I don't love the road schedule, but I know fans are going to go on some trips, and I will too. But I love the fact that the Raiders, again, they're just being looked at as, they're the Raiders. It's going to take a while for Pete Carroll. How dare anybody say it's going to take a while for Pete Carroll? What gives you the mind to believe that Pete Carroll's going to wait to turn this thing around? He wants to turn it around, and he's turning it around now. 702-365-9200 as we open up the show. Get on in on a Friday. A good week. The schedule release. Bravo by the Raiders with their schedule release video. Nice to see the Raiders punching back. My buddy Tom, who's in ticketing, he listens to the show. He was the gentleman that did that tour, and they were talking about the Chargers when they released the Charger games. And he's there. And Tom's not an actor, but he did a great job. And they're on the tour going by the 3 Super Bowl trophies. And he says something, I paraphrase. The Raiders won a Super Bowl in L.A. They're one of the 2 teams to win. And then the person on the tour said, what teams have won? And he said, that, and he left out the Chargers. And it was just a gut punch to the Chargers. I loved how the Raiders threw some punches and some throwing punches here, as you can see. I love how the Raiders threw shade at the Chargers, who think they can throw shade at us. They have planted fake fans who are fans of the Vikings and the Chargers. They don't travel well, but they're pretty good now. Jim Harbaugh's got a pretty good team. And the Raiders reminded everybody in their schedule release they've accomplished nothing. 0. When you go to the Chargers facility, wherever it is, there's no trophy case. Nothing. It lies bare. And we need to keep it that way. Jump on board as we get it going. I'm excited to be here. Big 2-hour show as we wrap it up. Q's got a big show. Morning tailgate sounds great. I got a PGA leaderboard update. Rory could miss the cut, but he's starting to get going now. Johnny Vegas in the lead. Scott Scheffler looking to go low. If you're a golf fan, this is great. We got a major to talk about and so much more on the flagship of the Silver and Black. How we doing, everybody? How we doing? Tell me. Little impromptu show from home today. All right. Yeah, it's Friday, man. It's a pretty shitty leaderboard for the PGA Championship. Not a lot of big names on top of that leaderboard. My dad's wallet, classic. Matter of fact, give me a moment. I'm going to say hi to my mom and dad because they're here and I want to see them. So give me a second. All right, Bobby, what do you want to do here, man? What do you want to do?